104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. The Giants off to a rough start, so we're going to our friend John Schmeelk, who works for thegiants.com and WFAN 660. John, what is, and this might be the stupidest question you get all day, what's the mood like in the locker room there for the Giants?
Somber. It's one thing to lose games. It's one thing to see your good friends on the team and a lot of your teammates go down with very serious injuries. I mean, 3 season-ending surgeries from the same position within 2 days of each other. That's pretty much unprecedented.
John, what is the is it like a do they feel like they quit already? I mean, it's hard to come back from this.
Look, we've only been in the locker room once since that game ended. That was right after the game. At that point, it's the shock of the game. It's somber. We'll be in there late Tuesday afternoon, but we'll get a better feel then. But with Eli Manning at the helm, I don't think this team is a group that's going to throw in the towel and quit. I think they're going to fight. It's going to be tough. I mean, the Broncos are one of the best teams in the league. It's going to be a very tough hill to climb, but they'll try. And I think this defense, too, is very prideful. They are still relatively healthy. We'll see if Olivier Vernon gets back this week. I think they kind of want to, say, look, last year wasn't a fluke. We really are that good. We're better than what we put on the field for 5 games this year. I think they're really going to try to step up next week and, frankly, try to win the game on their own and turn Trevor Siemian over a couple times.
And just to hit on it again, that position is wide receiver. It is Brandon Marshall, Dwayne Harrison, Odell Beckham Jr. out for the season with those injuries. With those 3 now out, who's going to get signed by the Giants? Who's going to step up? What's the next step in the process?
Well, the Giants have made a couple of roster moves already. As of yesterday, they brought up Travis Rudolph from the practice squad, so that was one thing that they did. And then free agent Tavares King, who was with the Giants in the offseason and was on the roster until he got cut right after final cuts. He was kind of dealing with an ankle injury for most of the summer. He's another option they could look at. And then they had a couple guys in the practice squad, Dylan Bundy, Egan, Darius Powell has gotten brought back from the practice squad. He was on the summer team. So they are basically looking at the waiver wire, trying to bring in anybody that's familiar with the offense. Because here's the thing, guys. Not only they can bring these guys in, they can learn a couple weeks. They got to come in and play this offense right away. So you have to bring in guys that are familiar with it, but they need to play this Sunday against Denver.
John Schmeelk with us, of course, covers the Giants for Giants.com. John, you didn't say one name. When you say know this offense right away, where's Victor Cruz?
All I can tell you is what Ben McAdoo said the other day in his conference call is that it's not in the plans, but never say never. So whether it's Victor not wanting to play anymore, he said he's going to start doing broadcasting now, or if it's the Giants just wanting to move on and then go to younger players, I'm not sure. But right now, that does not appear to be in the cards in the short term.
Going forward now for the rest of this 0-5 start, is anything going to change? Are we going to see a shift in maybe younger players? Despite the injuries, I know we touched on that there, but almost a new mindset for the rest of the season going forward with this franchise.
I don't think yet. I don't think if 5 games in, you're still not mathematically eliminated from anything. I don't. With Eli Manning as your quarterback and some of the veterans that are on this team on defense, that you say, you know what, we're just going to play young guys and say to hell with it pretty much. I don't see that happening yet. You get to the final 3, 4, 5 games, depending on what the record is. Maybe you try to start sprinkling Davis Webb in, the quarterback, things like that. And the other thing, too, is that there really aren't that many really young guys waiting in the wings at, any position that you sit there and boy, this guy really needs to play. Wayne Gallman already got put in there. I mean, he's already splitting carries as the starting running back. So I don't really think there are that many young guys sitting there waiting to take the reins unless you talk about the quarterback position. And I don't see that happening until probably late November, early December at the earliest, if at all.
John Schmeelk with us right now on 104.5 The Team. John, there's rumblings up here. Obviously, we're hours away from the organization that guys like Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese are going to be in trouble this year. Do you see any possibility of one or both being gone?
Hey, look, after the season, who knows what's going to happen in the next 11 games? Only the Maras and the Tisches know that. The owners, they'll make that decision. The way this franchise operates, the Giants don't make changes like that midseason. So I would be super duper absolutely shocked if anything happened during the course of the season. And I think we have to see how the season plays out, and then the Maras and Tisches will make that decision when all is said and done.
Let's get into the matchup this week. The Giants take on the Denver Broncos. Can they get their first win of the season, and if so, how?
get a lot of turnovers and special teams touchdowns and defensive touchdowns. I don't mean to sound so pessimistic, but I think that's what you really have to do. I think this defense has to play the best game of the year. The special teams need to be wonderful. Maybe you can run the ball in Denver, but no, wait, they have the best run defense in football. Maybe you can pass it on Denver. Oh, no, wait, they might have the best secondary in football. So this Giant offense moving the ball in the Denver defense is going to be really, 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 really tough. It would have been tough even with all their guys healthy. With all the wide receivers hurt, I don't know how the heck they're going to do it. So you're going to need some, weird things to happen, some special teams touchdowns, some defensive touchdowns, which is possible. Trevor Siemian will throw interceptions. He'll get into trouble. And that's the Giants' best path to victory, in my opinion.
John, I'm going to throw out a crazy idea that I've had, and you can tell me if you can be blunt and tell me I'm stupid if you agree. Odell Beckham Jr. not being there, could this actually be good for players like Evan Engram and Wayne Gallman and everyone else who, you've got an organization that kind of looks like OBJ, like he's Superman and he can fix all the problems. Everyone knows Superman's not coming through that door and they got to step up. Could this actually be good for the rest of the team?
Here's the problem, and I get what you're saying from a mental perspective, but now if you're a defense, right, and you're lining up against the Giants and you look at this personnel on offense, who are the two guys you're trying to stop now? Until Sterling Shepard gets back from injury and he's day-to-day with a sprained ankle, the two best offensive players for the Giants are probably Wayne Gallman and Evan Engram. So now these guys are going to get extra attention from the defense, and as talented as they are, I don't think they're ready to take that type of burden yet. So I'm not sure it's going to hurt their development, but it's certainly not going to allow them to shine because, frankly, teams are going to be paying a lot of attention to them.
John Schmeelk covers the Giants for Giants.com and a million other things. Obviously, fighting a bit of cold. We appreciate you for toughing it out and helping us out.
Yeah, no problem. If you heard Ben McAdoo on his post-game press conference over the weekend, I got whatever McAdoo had. It's not. Thank you, guys.
Good luck. We hope you feel better, John.
Appreciate it, fellas.